up. Right, well, I have a new guest with me in the studio. And just to introduce things, if you're an aspiring actor or actress, you're a singer or a band, then you can only imagine how difficult it is to get through to Hollywood filmmakers, the biggest record labels. Almost impossible, I would say, but not anymore. It may now be possible to Oxfordshire residents through the Rewind Group, which is a group based on the Cowley Road, and I'm very pleased to have with me Derek James, who came on BBC Radio Oxford last year to speak with Ali Jones about his behind-the-scenes job in the entertainment business. And he'd also written a book, which he's very kindly brought in to show me, The Direct to Fan Base Revolution, how the global, this is the subtitle, it's a very long one here, Derek, how the global movie, music and marketing industries are being changed by the actors, music makers and brands that can talk direct to audiences through new forms of international mass media. Wow, that packs a punch.
Yeah, sure does.
But we were talking off air, Derek, just to start with the book, because you were saying you made quite a few predictions in the book that actually have now come true.
I have a bit of a vantage point when I wrote that, because 10 years ago, 2004, my name was mentioned in Music Week, along with a group of other friends, because we were involved with the anti-piracy systems that the record and the music industry were using to basically slow down people nicking their music.
Right.
And some of those technologies were kind of like the mirror images or early forms of what we now call social media. So I'm looking at this and going, okay, fine, this is what the future is going to be kind of like. The record industry had at the time some of these prototype systems, but because the record industry is the music industry, not the social media industry, they weren't the people to champion the stuff. But having a look at what was going on then, I'm going, okay, this is only going to get better. There's going to be more, and it's going to be something like, not the same, but in that vein. And with that in mind, and knowing how much money was being spent to basically rewire the planet, which is $1 trillion a year,
wow.
I'm going, this is going to change in this direction. This is how it's going to work out. So, a few years later, I've written that. That is, doing its circulation, and, there's the kind of like, meeting people stuff that will get me to be able to do. And I think, I mentioned it to Ali a couple of, when I was on a year and a bit back, that I set up a thing in Oxford called the Art House, which was where if you were a band, an artist, a singer, an actor, and you want to put together show reels, because these things cost thousands of pounds.
Right.
You could come to my place, borrow the kit, and make it for free. Because I had that stuff there. It's like what I said last time. It's either sitting and rusting or giving it away and letting people use it.
Right.
And some of the people that had used equipment and some of the people that I had, like, for instance, there's people that I know who were actors on things like The Bill or EastEnders or whatever. They would come down and maybe help out and make show reels for people. And the people who were having the show reels made for them, they weren't getting through the doors.
Right.
So, me giving away equipment's great, but if you can't get through a front door, it's like...
There's no point, almost, yes.
So the revision of the process is, okay, we're going to have to start escorting people through the doors and putting together a program that's going to help them do that. So they can come to me, we'll give them some letterheads. They can write in the name of the company. And they're getting through the front door. And the basis of that project was Stephen King, because Stephen King, as the famous writer, horror writer, he did a thing called the Dollar License Program. So he would call in people that want to be writers, and he would say, okay, I'm going to show you how to adapt books for the big screen. And he said, by the way, if you want to, and you adapt my books for the big screen, you pay me $1, and I'll give you a license. Basically, it was his name, and you can now go and meet any of the biggest Hollywood producers, directors in the world, because you're now going through the door with one of my adaptations.
How fantastic. And you have a license to do it.
You have a license to do it. And so Frank Darabont, who went on to do, he's done the Walking Dead series, which is brilliant, and loads of other films. Shawshank Redemption, obviously.
Oh, fantastic film.
Right.
Yeah.
He did that, and he got that in because of what Stephen King did. And there are a few people that are doing projects like that, where what they're doing is they're setting up the platform to help people that ain't got, snowballs in.
Yes.
To get in. And so, like Robert Redford, his Sundance Film Festival is based on the same principle.
Yep. And that's been going for a long while.
Yes.
It's done a lot of good, isn't it?
Since 1981, so it's 30-something years now.
Yeah.
But the basis was Robert Redford said, I'm going to get a bunch of my industry mates together to look at some films by people that aren't in the industry, give them an evaluation. If we can get these guys' films sold into the distribution system, we'll do that. But it was to help people that were outside who couldn't get in, giving them a platform to do that. So that there are a few people that have set up platforms that are similar. And so what I'm doing with this project now is somewhat along the same lines.
Fantastic.
You know?
Well, we're going to hear a little bit more about that because, interesting, yesterday we were talking about a songwriting competition to enable songwriters who, again, didn't have anywhere to take their songs. Yeah. And today we're going to talk about Hollywood coming to Oxford, people having a chance to work in the heart, the hub of movie land. Yeah. So we will definitely come back and talk about that. Some music first, though. Here's a bit of Lou Reed.
BBC Radio Oxford. Travel.
Let's find out what's happening on the county's road. It's Bill. Hi, Bill.
Hi, Susie. We just heard from Howard, actually. There's something going on. This is on the northbound A34. It's just before Junction 9, he tells us. He's on the southbound stretch, but there's been an accident. He says the police are already there, but it's already causing queues. So if you're using that route, it's just before Junction 9, northbound A34. So we're going to chase that one up for you, of course. Howard, thank you for that update. We also heard about lanes being closed on Purton Lane in Watslington because of ice. So yes, especially if you're out in the sticks somewhere across, in the county, do be careful. It's that black ice you have to be careful about. So you've got lane shut on Purton Lane in Watslington. Checking the rest of our area on the motorway, you've got the inside lane closed off for ongoing repairs at Junction 7 for Tame, but actually traffic is coping quite well. If you're in the mood to go out shopping, Westgate is open till 4 o'clock in the centre of the city, of course. Not too bad for traffic. At the moment, I'm looking at my car park information here. There are spaces available. And if you're heading to Bicester Shopping Village, that's open until 7 o'clock this evening. Again, certainly for the moment, not causing any headaches, though, for traffic. Travel as it happens, BBC Radio Oxford, 95.2 FM.
Call with your travel news.
03459 311 666.
BBC Radio Oxford.
Is Radio for Oxfordshire. This week, enjoy a musical feast from 6 p.m. with BBC Radio Oxford. There's wild music with global echoes. Ags Connolly's Country Heroes.
One's on the way.
A classical collection with strings and things. Plus, the very best from our summer of live music. BBC Radio Oxford's musical feast continues tonight from 6 with Will Wilkins, Strings and Things. Susie Dent.
On BBC Radio Oxford.
On digital 95.2 FM and online.
Hi there. Well, I've been talking to Derek James. I've been having a nice chat with Derek. He set up something called the Rewind Group, which sounds like it is doing something absolutely amazing, I have to say. It's all about getting people in and through the door to those Hollywood filmmakers. And one of the things that I was chatting to Derek about off air was why Hollywood is still considered to be the centre of the world as far as films are concerned, because we don't have anything to rival it, do we?
Yeah, I'll give you the same answer that I gave off air.
Okay.
America's good at McDonald's in the planet.
Yeah.
And as I said, there's a guy that written a book, a guy by the name of Alistair Walker. And he's written 3 books about the British film industry and sort of different eras. And in a nutshell, England doesn't invest in its film business in the same way the Americans do. And Americans will always put the best people forward, So the reason why Tom Cruise is in a movie is because they know that he will bring in loads of people at the box office.
Yeah.
Whereas England has a kind of, let's have a go and let's let, everybody should have, and they give money out in that way. It's neither good nor bad, right nor wrong, depends on your ethos. But if you're talking about you want something to grow, then you wouldn't put together a relay team with the 4 worst runners.
No, although they may not necessarily be the worst. They may just be the least well known.
As I said, you're not going to win the race
I'm
if you put
I'm
in,
too British, aren't I?
You know, there you go.
Yes, okay. Well, that's interesting. Although I'd like to think that we didn't always put the Tom Cruises of this world forward. Nothing against Tom Cruise, but
No.
I think I'm with the British ethos, even if it doesn't always work. But actually, you're giving us a chance now to make it work. Tell us a little bit more about the Rewind Group and what your aim is.
Okay. I wear two hats. So if people go to the Rewind Group, which is therewindgroup.com, they see, basically I'm involved, because I used to be involved with anti-piracy systems, which were saving the entertainment industry billions a year.
Yeah.
And that was more as in a policeman's role, because, you know, where I am now is I'm actually involved with raising money for filmmakers. But I also have I'm gonna call it a community project, although it's not that. It's a bit bigger than that. And the idea with that is to give people access to meeting some of the bigger names, because they can't. So, like, I used to lend people equipment. They would make their show reels, and I've got friends who have been in like the Bill and EastEnders and so on. And these people would be in these people's show reels. So it wasn't like they didn't have any quality product. But they couldn't get through the doors, they couldn't meet the agents and so on. And there's people that I know who are good.
Yeah.
Now, my job back then was not to try and escort people through doors, because I had my own thing that I was doing. But where I am now with the Rewind Group is that I now have the capacity to do that. And as I said before, in 2007, Hollywood actually came to Oxford in the form of the New York Film Academy. Absolutely brilliant program. I mean, it was like, you know, Jesus came to Oxford sort of thing, in the sense that it was people in the game. It wasn't an academic course, or the courses weren't academic. They were practical, and they would see the people that had the aptitude for whatever the subject was. And you may be in a class with somebody's son who's famous. The tutor is somebody with credits to their name. And they would then slipstream you into something that they thought, right, okay, this person, we think that he can go forward. And they've got quite a high track record in slipstreaming people into the game. So but the thing is, they came here 2007, 2008. They didn't hang around for long for whatever reason, that it just didn't stick. And I've always looked at that program and thought, okay, something like that should be here. Was involved with something a couple of years ago that I thought could have been that. They didn't follow that through. Now that I'm doing what I'm doing, I can take that forward.
So this is almost the next step after, say, a Kickstarter project, in that people can get their films made and then come to you, or do they come to you for...
No, I said, like, I've got two hats. There's a hat where I raise money for, like films in the game, you know, so there's people with names. But in terms of, say, you're an actor, you've done your acting school, or you're a musician, you're a band... There are people that are band members, they're knocking doors, they can't get through the doors.
I see. So this is where you come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got a program where I can put people to, you know, I can say, right, okay, this is what we're going to do. I give them the type of letters that they should write and the people that they should be targeting and why. And kind of like the Stephen King dollar license system, I will put together something that they can use what I'm doing as a springboard to actually physically meet people. Because there are a lot of people that are in the industry, and this is, because if they go to... my website, there's a thing that's called Career Access, and the password, which will be activated from tomorrow at 12 o'clock, which is Oxford Hollywood. There are videos and audio that they can listen to where, if you look at Harrison Ford, Lady Gaga, Vin Diesel, Steven Spielberg himself, all of these people actually got into the game by being behind the scenes first.
Right, yeah.
It wasn't an audition, and being behind the scenes is a protracted process. You're meeting people, pressing flesh, getting to know people, and then doors open. But the kind of audition and hoping it works thing, that's kind of like, you know, it's a Russian roulette.
Sure.
And I'm not saying don't do that, do audition. But a lot of people that have got in the game have done so because they've been able to be behind the scenes and meet people, get to know people, and then someone opens a door for them, says, oh, there's an opening for you.
Fantastic. So it's like having your own private mentor, almost.
Yeah. But within, again, there's like, because I live, right, if you go into my office where I'm based, it's a shared office space, but I've got, my clocks have got England, British time, American time, California, New York, so different time clocks, because I might be speaking to people on different sides of the world. And what they need is a means by which they can actually be doing the same thing. That's really all it is. As I said, like if you read like, you know, the right type of books that says how so-and-so got involved, you'll find there are a lot of people that got involved because they just had a slipstream.
Yeah, which is everything we need. And the great thing is that Oxford residents, but our listeners now, can join the programme now before it's advertised nationally.
Before it goes national, yeah.
So just very quickly, if you can, just tell us how they
if they
get to you.
if they go to the Rewind group,
Yeah.
it's online, and there's a page that says career access. They'll find that. Now that's not going to be active until tomorrow.
Okay.
And the password is Oxford Hollywood. Just type that in and they can get in. But that is not going to be advertised until sort of like February.
Perfect.
So Oxford
This
people
is
have
your
got about a
chance,
month to get
listeners.
in before.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, guys. Derek, thank you so much for coming in and telling us
Thanks
about it.
very
I
much.
love the fact that all of this is happening in Oxford. As I say, songwriting and now filmmaking. It's really exciting. So thank you.
They've been trying for years. For whatever reason, it just hasn't stuck. So
Now
I'm
is the
committed.
time.
I'm committed to this one.
2015 is
Yeah,
the time.
yeah.
Thank you, Derek. And appropriately given.
2014 has been an incredible year in Oxfordshire, all brought to you by one radio station. This is Radio for Oxfordshire.